resting with inside of ourselves and opening deep into the feminine and listening, and then awakening that quality of the devotion, which is actually more of the masculine devotion to the feminine, and really coming into what is deeply true in this moment in your living life to come through from the feminine into the world. And this could be something so subtle, so it could just be a way of being that you're birthing. It's not about like creating this thing. It's like this deep listening and this unwinding and tuning in, where the masculine is so deeply in devotion to what is true to come through. And the more we tune into her, we quieten down, we listen to her, and we're in devotion to her, then what starts to happen is we connect more with our wholeness and our divinity, and we start to share more of that essence of who we are in the world. And that just naturally starts to ripple out into your creations in the world. So your life force, your feminine energy, your life force, like we've been conditioned to move our life force in the world to often do a job to make money. And I know this is a really strong conditioning, and it comes from more of like that fear base and that survival place. But when we can really surrender and listen and be so true to what that movement of her to come through you, it's more like a movement of devotion and a movement of joy to share. And it's not coming from that place of trying to save the world. It's not coming from that place of like, because that's still an identified place. Like there's an identity there in the world at the moment around like healing the world and saving the world. There needs to be a deeper humbling there, a deeper bowing down to her. It's like, as soon as we have those places of the arrogance or the identification that start to rise up, and we start to create from those places, she lets you know. She's like, no, you got to bow down. You got to go down. You got to surrender more. You got to let go more layers. You've got to burn more. You got to surrender and deeply listen. And so it's like, when we have this devotion to really bringing the feminine through our bodies into the world, we continuously going through an increased transformation where she's lighting up those places where we've been creating more, from the pattern place. And where we create to perhaps be seen or to be heard or for validation, or there's so many or for survival or out of our conditioning. There's so many kind of layers in which we can create from in the world which aren't in full deep surrender to the feminine coming through. So that's the invitation today, and just to share a little bit about, I feel it's relevant now. There's a close group of women that I've been guiding through first a 12-month inner transformational journey, and then they're now on a deepened 9-month journey with me, which is all about this deepened birthing of who you truly are into the world. And they have been going through layers, and me too, layers and layers and layers and layers of places that they're needing to meet in devotion to that healing and that transformation. And I think I mentioned this last week. They're also the layers and layers and layers of where the feminine has also been shut down or pushed down. Yeah, so there's kind of like and that is all lodged in our bodies. Yeah, I just feel to share with you a little bit about my journey around creation of what comes through me. Is there for a long time, for about 2 years at least. I mean, I'm not saying that this needs to be you, but just for me, I was deeply called to not share anything with the world. It was like there was a journey of actually emptying out, resting, healing, listening, unwinding, being with what was really true to come through me. And then that dedication was so deep for me, and the dedication to the feminine and that life and connecting with my divinity, like that was like the full dedication. And then that naturally started to come through in words and in forms. Yeah. And at that time of my life, I was in South Africa in a deep nature, just on my own by a river in the mountain. And then there was it just like naturally started to move through me, but there was a lot of needing to let go of old forms and old structures that I had created more from my patterning and my conditioning and my imprinting. So that was just a journey that I went on in a process. And then there was a movement of it was actually like felt like an orgasmic birthing of a vision. Yeah, it came from the earth, and it like showed me that I needed to pack my bag, like become very light in the on the physical side. So I like let go of all of my physical things, and I packed 2 suitcases, and then to move where I was called to move in the world, to share this women's work, the awakening of the feminine women's work. And that's where I went on a journey of actually staying in different countries and sleeping in being homed by different women in their homes. And then I would share retreats. I don't know if few of you I met as I was traveling. So it was very clear that there must be no root and no base and no home for a while. And then I actually felt like this, almost like a tap root coming down and going, okay, you need to root now. And I listened to that, and I followed that movement. And now I have more of a root and a base, and I'm currently in New Mexico, where there's just more of a supportive container, and that was kind of beginning of last year. I was more rooted, and then there was a clear call to actually create more of a container online. That's where the birthing of my online program started last year, for 12 months, and there was a group of about 30 women that joined that program from different parts of the world and went on a 12-month journey with me. And then I spoke to you about the 9-month program, which is just a deepening for women who would like to support the awakening of the feminine in the world through their own unique essences. So that's kind of how it unfolded for me over the past decade, and she continues to teach me that, and there's a continuous, as I shared, humbling and bowing down and releasing old ways that I would maybe do something. So for example, this year I was like, okay, so is it true for me to birth the online program again and to share the online program again? And I came here, and there was like, I went through this deep death and this dying and this emptying and this blackness and this, and kind of like almost part of my human part was a bit relieved. It was like, okay, so I'm not gonna do it this year. Because it's like I go through such a transformation holding this space, but then it was like, oh no, okay, it's actually wanting to come. And but for about 2 weeks there was nothing. 2 or 3 weeks there was just, okay, no, it's definitely not wanting to come through. But it wanted to come through in a really different, like a unique way, like what was really true to come through me now. Yeah, not like what I had created last year. So there was like a changing of the form, like the essence is still there, but it was just more of an expression of where I'm at now, yeah, and what is true to come through me now.